There's a question that has followed humanity since the beginning of time. A question so deep that no matter how advanced we become, we still can't escape it. Does God really exist? Not just as an idea, not as something we were taught as children, but as something real, something that exists whether we believe it or not. What's interesting is that even people who say they don't believe in God still find themselves asking this question at some point in their lives. Maybe during a quiet night. Maybe during a difficult moment. Maybe when life doesn't make sense anymore. Because deep down, something inside us keeps searching. Think about it. Why do humans, out of all living things, ask this question? Animals don't sit around wondering about their purpose. They don't question existence. They don't look up at the sky and wonder if something greater is out there. But we do. And not just once. Over and over again. Across different countries, cultures, and generations, people who have never met each other somehow arrive at the same question. The same curiosity. The same search for something beyond this world. That alone is strange. It's like there's something built into us. Something that keeps pulling us toward the idea of a higher power. Some people call it curiosity, others call it fear. But what if it's something more? What if this constant questioning, this deep, almost unavoidable desire to understand, is not random at all? What if it's actually the first clue? Because if there was truly nothing beyond this world, if there was no God, no higher existence, then why would the idea even exist in the first place? Why would billions of people, throughout history, feel the same pull towards something they cannot see? Maybe the biggest mystery isn't whether God exists. Maybe the real mystery is why we can't stop thinking about him. Now let's step back for a moment, away from ourselves, and look at the universe. Everything around you. The sky, the stars, the earth beneath your feet, the air you breathe. All of it exists. But here's the real question. Why? Scientists have spent years trying to explain how the universe began. Some say it started with a massive explosion, something that created space, time, and matter all at once. But even that raises more questions than answers. Where did that explosion come from? What caused it? And more importantly, how did something come from absolutely nothing? Because nothing doesn't create something. Nothing has no power, no energy, no ability to produce anything. So if there was truly nothing in the beginning, then logically, there should still be nothing now. But that's not what we see. Instead, we see a universe filled with structure, order, and precision. The laws of physics work in perfect balance. Gravity holds everything together. The Earth is positioned at just the right distance from the Sun to support life. Even the smallest changes in these conditions could make life impossible. And yet, everything works. Not randomly, not chaotically, but with an almost unbelievable level of precision. It's like walking into a perfectly built house and being told it created itself. No builder, no design, no plan, just happened. It doesn't feel right, does it? Because deep down, we understand something important. Design usually points to a designer. Order usually points to intelligence. So when we look at the universe, not just as something that exists, but something that works so perfectly, it begins to feel less like an accident and more like something intentional. And that leads to a powerful thought. What if the universe itself is not just evidence of existence, but evidence of a creator? Now let's bring it closer. Forget the stars for a moment. Forget the universe. Let's talk about something you experience every single day. Something you've probably ignored without even realizing it. That inner voice. You know the one. The voice that tells you something is wrong even when no one is watching. The feeling that pushes you to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. The quiet sense of guilt when you know you've done something you shouldn't have. Where does that come from? Because it's not something you can see. It's not something you can touch. And yet, it's real. No matter where people come from, different countries, different cultures, different backgrounds, there are certain things we all just know. We know that kindness is good. We know that cruelty is wrong. We know that love matters. But who taught us that? Yes, society plays a role. Parents teach us values. But even beyond that, there's something deeper. Something that feels built into us. Because even when people are raised in completely different environments, there are still shared moral understandings. It's like there's a universal sense of right and wrong, written somewhere inside us. And that raises an important question. If there is no higher standard, no ultimate source of truth, then how do we all somehow recognize the same moral ideas? Why does injustice feel wrong? Why does love feel right? Why do we feel accountable, even when no one else knows what we've done? It's almost as if there's a standard beyond human opinion. Something that doesn't change based on culture or time. Something constant. Some would say it's just evolution. Others say it's social conditioning. But neither fully explains why this sense feels so real, so personal, so undeniable. Because it doesn't feel like something we created. It feels like something we discovered. And maybe, just maybe, that voice inside you is not just your thoughts. Maybe it's a reflection of something greater. There are moments in life that don't fit into logic. Moments that don't follow rules. Moments that make you pause and think. How did that happen? It could be something small. A situation where everything should have gone wrong, but somehow it worked out. Or a moment where you felt guided, like something was pushing you in a certain direction. Or even times when help came at exactly the right moment. Not too early, not too late. Just perfectly timed. Some people call it coincidence. Others call it luck. But sometimes, it feels like more than that. Because when these moments happen, they don't just feel random. They feel personal. As if something, or someone, is aware. Think about the times you've been at your lowest. Confused. Lost. Not knowing what to do next. And then somehow, something shifts. An idea comes. A person appears. A path opens. And you can't fully explain why. These experiences are hard to measure. Hard to prove. But they're also hard to ignore. Because they leave an impact. They stay with you. And the more they happen, the harder it becomes to believe that everything is just chance. What if these moments are not accidents? What if they are small glimpses, small signs, that there is something beyond what we can see? Not something loud or obvious, but something quiet, subtle, present. Because maybe the biggest proof isn't always something you can see with your eyes. Maybe it's something you feel, something you experience, something that slowly becomes harder to deny. So after everything we've explored, the question still remains. What is the biggest proof that God exists? Is it the universe? Is it the design of life? Is it the voice inside us? Or the unexplainable moments we experience? Maybe it's not just one thing. Maybe it's all of them, combined. Because when you look at each piece individually, you can find ways to explain it. You can say the universe was random. You can say morality is learned. You can say experiences are coincidence. But when you put it all together, the constant human search for meaning, the precise structure of the universe, the inner sense of right and wrong, the moments that feel guided and intentional, it starts to form a pattern. And patterns are hard to ignore, because at some point, it stops feeling like separate coincidences, and starts feeling like something connected, something pointing in the same direction. And maybe that's the proof people overlook. Not a single undeniable sign, but a collection of signs, all leading to the same conclusion. That there is something more. Something beyond what we can fully understand. Something that doesn't need to be seen to exist. Because not everything real is visible. And maybe that's why the biggest proof of God isn't something obvious or overwhelming. Maybe it's something quieter. Something woven into everything around us. And within us. Something that has always been there, waiting to be noticed.